God is moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whenever you're listening, and welcome to Young People Nation. We would first of all like to thank all of our sponsors and supporters for supporting us in this movement. You have truly been a blessing to us, and God has many ways to help us in our mental health journeys. So we're here to bring awareness to all those different ways, and we just want to thank everyone for supporting us in this movement that God has given us. Well, today we have an amazing guest, and I tell you, we've had some amazing ones here, but God has graced us to have a form of relationship with this young man, Mr. Raymond Weber. He is owner and operator of More Than a Game, and a lot of young people definitely know him in the community. He's a former NFL wide receiver, owner and operator of TRU Security. He is a lover of God. He's a huge developer for men and young men in the community, and he's a dedicated father of 3 young ladies.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Even if it's the evening time, I say good morning. So good morning, everybody.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
All right.
yes.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you. This is truly a gift, and we remember when he was help training us maybe about 5 years ago, 6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you helped us to have some discipline. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
We want to, and we thank you for your transparency and how you're very transparent about your mental health journey, because that is what our community needs, especially our young people.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Weber, we want to talk about Raymond L. Weber, born in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's talk about the single parent home and the real relationship with your father, because that's kind of how your journey began.
Yeah. So I was born, to my mother who wasn't with my father. She had 3 kids with my father, but they weren't married. I'm the youngest of 10. Out of that, the only boy in my mother's household. So already that dynamic was kind of crazy because I'm a mama's boy, but at the same time, my mom was tough, so she had to instill that toughness within me. So things that my sisters can do, I couldn't do. And then we grew up in a very, I'm not going to say low income, because my mom had her own house, and she did what was necessary to provide for us. But our neighborhood was hard. Like, I'm from the 23rd curve. That's what the neighborhood called in St. Louis, Missouri, on the north side, the old North St. Louis. So that area right there already teach you to be tough. A single mother trying to figure it out, keep her son from being a statistic in the streets. Yeah. So she threw me into sports, and she used to always just preach to me and try to instill things into me in life that'll help me survive out there and be a better person. Okay.
All right. Well, your mama was making sure that you didn't get in trouble, so she got you into some athletic events and things of that nature. So that's why I take it that's where football came in, right?
Yes, ma'am. So my mom was one of the program directors at the recreation centers. She was it's city rec. That's what we call the city recreation. So she was program director at a couple of them. So they had football, of course, basketball. So year round, I played a different sport. So it was football she introduced me to. And I'm going to just put a caveat out there. I hated football at first. I cried the first week. Mama, I don't want to be out here. I don't want to be out here. And I was a little chubby kid too. I wasn't fat, but I was like a little chubby kid. So she, they made me play. They made me play lines. So I cried every day for that week. And she just said, "Son, you can't quit. You got to go out there. You can't quit. I'm putting you out here, and they're gonna teach you life lessons. You're gonna be around some positive men." And so I stayed out there, and I got better and better each year, and she had me football, basketball. Basketball was really good. They called me Rebounder Raymond.
Okay.
And I think they helped me as I got older with football because I can go up and high point the ball, all hands, couldn't shoot, save my life, couldn't dribble at first, but I could rebound. So they call me Rebounder Raymond. So I really fell in love with basketball. My basketball coaches were all my coaches were, positive role models in my life. But basketball, baseball, football. I tried track. They had me in golf. Everything you could think of.
Wow.
My mom kind of allowed me to do and to try different things. And I know parts of it was to distract me. But what I learned within those sports, everything was more than the game, the discipline, adversity, sportsmanship, just working past stuff, being a hard, dedicated person, perseverance, all of that stuff that instilled, that we don't realize is instilled us when we playing sports. I was able to access that, and I'm grateful for my mother for throwing me in sports. And she always tell me I'm a student athlete, so just as much she threw me in sports academically. When I came home from school, me and my sisters, we would sit on the floor, and before we could watch TV, eat anything, that homework got done.
Hey.
So we were academics as well as athletes.
So
I know that doing that, I saw my wife look at me like that because she knew that I was a little fat kid in the first grade and all like that.
Yeah.
But really, sports seems to be a second home.
Mm-hmm.
And by the standard you set in that sports, you are able to instill the home atmosphere through sports as you learn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it teaches you to be disciplined because we both were athletic. So I played basketball. That's how we met, actually.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, Lord, she beat me. Okay.
Hit you with that post move right there.
She beat me playing basketball. I'll never live it down.
But it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, she beat me so bad I had to marry.
You remember, you ever seen the movie Love and Basketball?
Oh, yeah.
At the end, she's like, play me for your heart. That's what happened when
that was my life.
Yep. So, hey, grateful. Yeah, he's that dude. Okay, so you shared with us that in middle school, you recognized you were dealing with anger. What did that look like?
A lot of being upset, isolation, punching the walls. I can't even count how many. I can't even count how many holes I put in the wall and how much drywall my mama had to buy to replace it. And it was just the rage, and you don't know how to release it, and you don't know where to release it to. And so, you punch any object and just kind of be mad. And back then it was taboo for, young black boys to talk about mental health. Like,
Yes.
they would consider you crazy. They would put you on Ritalin, Prozac, whatever it is. And we didn't want to be within those confinements of, being a zombie, or a lot of people and where I grew up from, they put their kids on their medicine, but that's just so they can get a check, every month.
Wow.
And my mom was so prideful, and not to say that I needed that medicine or anything like that, because I learned how to release it, eventually, like playing sports. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but she just was so prideful. She would never like put us on medication and stuff. And I had family members that was taking it like, he need to take his medication and acting out. So it wasn't like that. I wasn't acting out like in school. I was able to still be disciplined, but I would just need something to keep me busy. But that anger, like I said, punching holes in the wall, fighting, I just was trying to find an outlet. And I really, like, reflecting back on it, middle school was kind of that time where I didn't realize at the time, but like my dad, me and my dad, like, we have a relationship, but it wasn't you never see me and my dad riding bikes. You never see me and my dad outside throwing the football, or going shoot basketball and stuff, going to the movies, like those bonding times that most people would have with a father. I got an older father, he's 20 years senior of my mother, and so that means he's about 40 years older than me. Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of things in common. All he can tell me was, to work hard. He always worked hard. That was it. Work hard and provide. That's what he knew. So by the time I was born, like I said, my dad 40. So in the 20s, that's when you had the most fun with your
Yeah.
My dad 40, so we couldn't connect. Like most fathers and sons could. And I know a part of that, created, me being angry because I didn't have, only had my mom who, she wanted to teach me to be tough. Like, you're a man. You're like, you keep your head up. So she wanted to teach me to be tough. So I didn't have a space to be vulnerable. And to, even admit that I had insecurities back then. So yeah, a lot of that anger, in middle school, you hitting puberty. I was a late bloomer within the puberty range. Like, I was smaller than I'm bigger than everybody now, but I was smaller than all my friends and stuff like that. So and then we didn't come from money, so I didn't have the Jordans that everybody had. Shoot, we went to Shoe Carnival and they had the 2 for $89.
Yeah,
and I had me a white pair of Reebok Classics, or I had me some Adidas or some generic Nikes. And I was grateful for it, but when you go around your peers and everybody got on the new release Jordans that came out Saturday, or they got on these shoes, they had access to all this stuff that I didn't. It was kind of like, I was mad at the world for what I thought I needed, when reality, my mom, provided everything that she could. She gave me the necessity. So I'm at 34 years old, I'm grateful for it. The 12, 13-year-old me didn't understand it, so I was mad, like, dang, why? But 34-year-old me looking back at it, I'm really grateful and appreciative for everything she sacrificed for me.
I can see from your lifestyle now why you are such a good builder. Because when I first met you and all, man, you get this guy 2 sticks and a hammer, he'll build you a house.
Yes, very creative. Yes, very gifted. Can do several things at one time.
Yes.
Yes. And your vision is for real amazing. And and through your journey, this is why the young men they gravitate to you. You can tell that they gravitate to you. And even though you didn't have that father, look at all the thousands of young men you are affecting.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That is very powerful, because I used to just stand back and watch. And I was just talking to one of my coworkers that we're going to have a session with you, and you train his son.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, you trained his son. So you're out there.
Hey, he's good. He never get tired neither. you be
I try not to show it.
Yeah, and be down there putting down that artificial graph. Hey, you finished yet? I was like, wow.
Listen, I thank you so much for that, because that was a time where, I was trying to figure it out when I was, trying to cut costs any way I could.
Yeah.
And Mr. Perry came by, and he was in that thing with me, just moving stuff and directing and pointing his finger, and trying to cut that grass with me. So yeah, I'm really grateful, appreciative, because that was.
That's what the community is supposed to do. When we see that you're about, building the community, we're supposed to come together and get it done.
Yeah, he was good, because he would give you a water break.
I try to provide at least the water.
Excuse me. Okay, so. Raymond, you talked about yourself in middle school. So let's go middle school, high school, Raymond. Let's talk about him.
So high school, again, like I said, I was a late bloomer. So my freshman, sophomore year, I was smaller. Sophomore year, I started to grow a little bit. And I just started to be around the wrong crowd. Like, I was always a popular kid. I was smart, plus I can play sports. So I was kind of like, I can hang out with, if we go stereotypical, I can hang out with the jocks as well as what they consider the nerds, because I was sitting at both tables, because I was academic as well as an athlete. So I was real diverse. I started to read way more, to kind of like I felt like me reading those books, like I was living in a different lifestyle. Like, it helped me escape my reality. At one point in time, like I remember my 5th grade teacher introduced me to Harry Potter, and for 7 years a new book was released, and me and Harry graduated together. It's funny. I got Harry Potter tattoo, but so stuff like that helped me. But when I got to high school, I felt like I was under my sister's shadow. So I had 2 sisters that were, great academic, great students, never been suspended, don't get in trouble. Like, highest ranking officer, because I went to a Naval Academy at first, so they highest ranking officers in the school. Wow. So, and they got this little brother that don't want to be anything like him. I'm fighting. I'm doing stuff that I was supposed to do. And so it's kind of like the teacher's like, your sister's nothing like it. And I'm just like, I'm not my sisters, you know what I'm saying? And so sophomore year, like I said, I found myself, really, that's when you start, getting introduced to, like, exposed to, like, gangs and cliques. And so I was a part of all of that. And I got this loyalty condition where I'm loyal to a fault. So if my friends are beefing with somebody, I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna handle it. So I was fighting every other week in high school. We would pull up. It don't matter if it's after school, I wasn't even in music class. I beat somebody up in music class. So it was like I kept finding myself like in these situations where I'm getting in trouble. And then the assistant principal, she was just like, she told my mom, she's like, listen, the direction he heading, we gonna expel him. So it's my recommendation that y'all transfer before that happens. Cause I had got suspended. I got arrested. I think, I was like 14, 15 years old, fighting after a basketball game. And it's because one of my teammates was mad about something. So he swung on somebody and felt like I had his back. So I jumped in, beat the guy up. And then even when the police came, like to try to, get us down on the ground, I flipped the police officer and everybody's like, Raymond, stop. And I was like, my bad, and I apologize to that man. Afterwards, they arrested us and took us to jail, and my mom had to come get me, and that was probably the first humbling moment of my life. I was in the back of a police car, and a little kid riding next to me, and when you're a little kid, you see somebody in the back of the car, the little kid started pointing at me, and I was like, what the heck? I slid down in the car like embarrassed, and I'm just nervous, and I called my mom, come get me, and of course, she fussing the whole entire way, and she was one of those people where, she gonna, right or wrong, she gonna tell me when I'm wrong, but she's still gonna defend me. And so my basketball coach left us out there, like the three of us who got arrested. He's like, take him to jail, and left us out there. So my mom, she didn't want to, she was angry with me, but she had to show it to somebody else. So she got angry at the basketball coach or whatever. So, but yeah, so I was fighting a lot. And then my junior year, like I transferred to the school, but they said I got recruited because it wasn't my school in my neighborhood. But my mom didn't want me to go to the neighborhood school because she knew what that was going to look like if I did. So that junior year, that was probably the most angriest of my childhood because I couldn't play the sports I love, so they deemed me ineligible. And I remember writing letters to the state board, a lady named Becky Oakes. I remember I'm writing letters every week trying to play. I'm going to practice every day, every game I'm dressing out. They wouldn't let me play junior varsity because the other schools had already seen me play, and they was like, "This is gonna be unfair." Couldn't play varsity, so I was just so mad. I remember just sitting in the locker room when she denied my letter, crying. Then I just wrote her another letter. I wrote another letter, so I couldn't play the entire junior season. And after every basketball game, I would find somebody to fight.
Wow. So that's that. I keep hearing anger, anger,
yes.
And that anger followed you. Okay. So we're about to end this first session.
Okay.
So what would you tell parents about middle school and high school young men, single mother?
Try to pay attention to your child. Try to listen to the stuff that they don't say. The guys, they need an outlet. They need either a mentor. They need a group. Don't just let it be their peers that they are indulging what they're going through, and understand that your son can look as confident on the outside but be insecure on the inside. And I just suggest, even if the kids feel like they don't have a problem, sign them up for counseling if you can, just so they can have somebody, because it's something that they don't even realize that you want to identify at a young age, because it can carry over into their adulthood. But find somebody for your child to talk to, and I'm not gonna say create a system of trust where they feel like you their friend, and you can, because there's certain stuff that you just don't want to tell your parents, but give them somebody that that they can find an outlet to actually talk to, and be a listening ear for them.
Okay. Well, this was really good. And keep in mind, audience, September was and is National Suicide Prevention Month, and actually all the days of the year, because people are just exiting out. So let's be kind. Let's not take no one for granted. Behind the smile, a lot of times, is pain. So let us just be intentional with whoever is in front of us. We always like to give out our mental health hotlines. There's a 988 hotline. There's a text home to 741-741. That's free 24/7 service. And NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And you can go to their website and reach out by the state you live in. And if all else fails, you can call 911 for a general source in the community. Okay, Mr. Perry?
Yes, this is Suicide Prevention Month. And remember, if you are not living the life that you want to live, and you really look at yourself honestly, and you decide that this you just existing, don't give up. This has been Young People Nation, and remember, there's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth onto what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.